Hello and welcome to the UFC 360 post-match. Joining me tonight's Ben from the States, Max from Sweden, and Michael all the way in Blighty. How are you guys doing?
All right, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Better now.
Better than before?
Yeah, definitely. Better than 25, 34 minutes ago or whatever it was when...
Starting to calm down a little bit.
Yeah. And chill. Breathe.
So yeah, guys, what were your thoughts, general kind of feelings after the match so far?
Well, I mean, just like everybody else, surprised how pedestrian that Wolves were, really surprised. Obviously, we were surprised about the lineup. We were all sad that Isak didn't make it, and there's no sign of Bruno not making it beforehand until people started saying that he hadn't got on the bus from back home. So yeah, it was, and Wood starting. Yeah, it was. It certainly started off curious, didn't it, for us all? A bit like, what's this going to be like? So
yeah, well, wasn't sure what to make of it. Obviously, it was like a morning game here. It was like 6 a.m. So kind of waking up and I guess I imagine we'll go into lineup in a minute, but it was definitely a bit of a kick to not have Isak around. Like I thought that was going to be a big one, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't sure going into it. I feel like I'm not sure what our actual record is against Wolves, but they're always one of them teams I hate playing. We never seem to be, especially in Molineux. I think maybe it was just because of the game last year was so. It was like somebody died last year. It was horrific. So
yeah, Steve Bruce.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm still scarred by that. And then, less than a week later, it was the takeover and everything's been so different. But I think it still probably scarred me a little bit, that last trip to Wolves. So I wasn't sure what to think going into it.
Yeah.
No, I think it panned out pretty much as how I expected it. We talked on the preview. I thought it was going to be a 1-0 win to either side or a 1-1 draw. As you say, Ben, we usually don't get a good result at the Molineux. Often draws or losses, narrow losses, or last year was not so narrow, but that's last year. It's still to fight back from being down under to drawing level is good, shows good spirit. So in the end, I think it's a good point, but missing our key players showed a bit too much today, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Michael, before we go on to lineup surprises, what was the difference between last year and this year?
I think this year we looked like we had a plan, didn't we? When we went behind, we didn't sort of seem to capitulate. I mean, Hendricks' actually was a bit like Max's last year, maybe not quite as beautiful, but it was, from outside the box. But we looked like we were the ones pressing that game. They were quite happy once they went 1-up to go, right, stop, let's try and, hope to hit them on break, which obviously they thought they had in the second half. But I think we looked like much more like we had a plan this year. I mean, considering that, at least 6 of those might have started last year. Might be wrong about that. I mean, obviously Pope didn't. Did Shah start last year? I don't think he did. So the back 5 didn't. But I mean, apart from Willock, I mean, obviously we didn't have Bruno today. So I think it wasn't quite chalk and cheese. I think the weather was better, and the weather reflected much more of what it was like last time. It was diet. It was raining there. We were all so down, and this time we're all much more like, well, we're getting a bit used to this. We're getting a bit used to the warm weather. We're getting a bit used to us not being crap. We're getting used to us having it's not over now until it is finished. As simple as that. And that is a difference between us now and us then.
I can't believe you mentioned the name Jeff Hendrick.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him? Oh, he went to QPR, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't want to know what happened to him. It's just...
Yeah. Let's not talk about them.
Anyway, lineup surprises. Ben and Max.
Yeah. As I said, it was an early game here, on the west coast of the US. So it was alarm went off at 5:45. Kind of immediately check Twitter, see what the lineup is, and then you hit with no Bruno, which was a shock. No Isak in the team, and you've already got Wilson out. I know it was deflating. It made me I saw the bench as well, and it was. You got Murphy, you got Anderson, who I like, but he's untested. We want him to be good, but we don't really know that he actually is at this level yet. So I don't know. I was honestly worried going into it, and not having this sack, I thought was that really was a bit of a kick in the nuts, because we know that Wood, good goal last week, but what, against the League Two team in Tranmere, was it League 2, League 1? So
League 2, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't confident going into it, but they did all right. It wasn't too bad. All things considered, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, I wasn't confident when I woke up.
Max, were you a bit gutted not to see your countrymen start today, or even bench?
Yeah, it was a bit deflating. Love to see him play, of course, but also it took away a lot from our team to see not even Bruno start, and you can easily see in our attack that with Wood up front, he just have zero chemistry with like any of the other players. Almiron, Saint-Maximin, they don't put the balls into him that he would like, and he doesn't do the runs they would possibly want him to do. I just think that's completely dysfunctional front three, which we could see, I think, for most of the half. And we started to be better when he went off. Unfortunately for him, I like him as a person, and as a player he can do a job, but I don't think in this team right now he doesn't have a place enough for us, unfortunately.
Completely agree. And so what was your assessment for the first half then, Michael? I mean, with the Willock miss and...
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was that, wasn't it? It was that, again, we've mentioned this before on a couple of other shows about on a different day, that's a penalty, and I was saying to some of the lads on the chat about, I thought VAR was supposed to bring in this consistency of checking it and looking at it. And, 1 week it's still, that was a penalty last week. It's not a penalty this week. But yeah, I mean, so we had that. And then obviously the Willock chance, I mean, he just snatched at it, didn't he? He just and just hit it as first time. So, but yeah, I mean, we were pretty limited, weren't we, really, until that point? Wolves were, that's when they were at their best, really. So if that penalty had gone in, if that had been a penalty and we scored, I think we would have seen a much different game then. I think Wolves would have we'd have caught them a much more on the break, which is what I think we were expecting a bit more from them, as they showed again in the second half. So yeah, we really pushed them, I think, after that.
Yeah.
Max, what about you?
Yeah, it was a bit of a scrappy first half. Not a lot of chances. They, as I said in the preview, they're good defensively and have a really good counterattacks and are good in the transition, which they showed today. And we are a bit slow at the back. We don't have the quickest defender, especially with Byrne at left back, and they caught us out a few times. And I didn't think we posed much of a threat in the first half. From what I can remember, the only big chance we had was that Willock just hit in a way. But what makes me a bit angry is that Willock, for the second game in a row, jumps to block something, but he spreads his leg and looks away. So for the City game, he looked away when De Bruyne hit the ball, which penetrated our defensive Bernardo Silva. And this time again, he just looked away and jumped, and the shot went through his leg again. So that's a bit annoying in my opinion. I want to block that, and you need to fully commit and watch the ball, don't look away. But otherwise, decent first half.
Yeah, Ben, like what Martin says, the goal's a little lucky going between his legs. But did you think maybe Willock could have done better?
Yeah, I thought he had a bad game, honestly. He got better towards the end of the second, but he always does. He's always good in the second half, last 20 minutes. But to me, I mean, a little bit like City, he wasn't good today. Lots of missed passes, but also so did Longstaff. But there was a couple of times with Willock that he loses possession and he runs back. He does the sulk thing that Maxi does occasionally, and kind of his body language isn't right. He doesn't run back, but we know he's fast. He sprinted off with the ball from Kyle Walker last week, and we've seen him do it before. We know he's fast. So it's frustrating when your central midfielder does that, in a game like this. Maxi does it far left. All right. It's not an immediate danger to us. It's not running down the middle of the pitch, heading towards our 18-yard box. Willock does it in the middle of the park. It's immediately a counter-attack in a dangerous area. And then he kind of trots back. And it reminded me of Shelby when he was going through that sort of lethargic, lazy period. And Yeah, he really annoyed me, and yeah, he was unlucky about that, about it going through his legs. Same with City last week. You know, he couldn't have really helped that. It was a great pass, but if he gets out there faster, then it's a different story. Today's, I think he could have got there faster. We know he can. We know he can get there faster when he's on his game. But yeah, to me, he had a bad game. But yeah, Longstaff as well. I thought the midfield generally was pretty weak. We missed Bruno, and I can see. I'm not sure if those rumors about Edson Alvarez are true, but a central midfielder with a bit of bite would be really good because Longstaff doesn't want to be defending, in my opinion. Willock definitely doesn't want to be defending, in my opinion. Having somewhere a much better Isaac Hayden, I think, would be perfect for us. Let those lads go and do what they do in the front part of the pitch, but have someone break it up at the back. But to me, if we have Bruno, we win that game. I think he controls everything. I think he nullifies Neves a lot more. So yeah, that to me was that's got me in the first. That was pretty annoying.
Yeah, they must have thought when they didn't see Bruno even getting off the coach, they must have been like, because I mean, he's such a good player. He does everything with such composure. He doesn't overdo it. He doesn't seem to run around like a headless chicken, which I'm afraid Sean does sometimes.
Yeah.
He doesn't give the ball, hardly ever gives the ball away. He just, everything he does is for a reason. If he's in that, if he can just judge a game way better than anybody else that we've had for a long, long time. And he really is crucial to us. So
am I being harsh on Willock there? Do you think he could have got to that ball? Do you think he could have done more with it? Or is it's a wonder strike, right? But a wonder strike.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. Because he's a box-to-box midfielder. That's what he was bought for. He's the one that we expect to get from one end to the other. When it go, for a counter-attack, he's that guy. So, but like you say, he does a bit, you're completely right. He's a bit like Shelby. He's a bit like, the old shoulders start to sag a little bit and you could just see on his body language. But I mean, Max is like that too, but he's like that in every game. He always looks buggered in every game, doesn't he? He always looks like he's pulled something or, his body language just thinks, oh, he's going to come off in a minute because that's just Maxi. But yeah, Willock looks a bit sort of like a bit. Does he need an arm around his shoulder? I don't know. I don't know.
I thought he was a little lazy at times. He was running around, doing a bit of ballet here and there.
Yeah. Lazy passing as well. And like, him and Longstaff, it's a great way to describe it. I thought it was lazy. A lot of passing, they're passing, a lot of like what they did with the ball, their first touch. Sometimes it was, I've seen them play a lot better. And it was annoying when when Bruno's out the team. It's a big audition for them both to prove that they deserve a starting place. To not take that and to not really kind of put a shift in it. I don't know. To me, it was a missed opportunity for him.
Yeah.
Moving on, second half, Max. What did you think? I mean, especially about Chris Wood.
It was annoying because I thought the first half we started a bit energetic, but then I think when Char was VAR checked for the red card, we almost lost momentum a bit, and the second half also became a bit scrappy. And then their players went down injured a lot of the times. Took 2-3 minutes for them to get up again, and we didn't get into rhythm. Only like the last 10 minutes or so, I thought we found our rhythm really good and really poured over them and started to create a lot of good chances for us to score. I mean, eventually we did. And I thought we got, as I said before, better when Wood came off because he just doesn't link up well with the other two wingers or the midfielders. He's a presence in the box, but so can Joe Linton and Willock be with the same effect or maybe even better. So for me, it was better when he came off. And I thought if we could play maybe 10 more minutes, I thought we could have gotten the win, to be honest.
What are we going to do with him? £25 million? Doesn't really seem to fit the system.
I'd say sell him next summer. I'm sorry. He did a job for us, but he's done the job now, and we need to move him on. He did a good goal against Tranmere, but that's Tranmere.
Yeah, he's definitely there to sort of use in the cups. I think when Isaac comes in, we'll see him coming on, to keep it tight after, so we can launch it up to the big fella and, keep it tight like that. But I think he'll be there for like the cups, and stuff like that because obviously now it's going to be Wilson and Isaac, and then will they play them together? I don't know yet till they do it. But I think, Wood's got a job. And like Max said, he was there when we needed him. He was a lot of money, but, we were shoring up the dam, really, weren't we? Then we were just hoping that this would be enough, and it was. So I think he's going to be a good, he'll be a squad player. He won't be starting now.
I think you do need a
Backup
third
central
striker.
defender.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
Maybe a backup central defender, Ben.
Yeah, he absolutely could do that. Someone in midfield, just come on if Big Joe goes off. Big Joe. Look at the turnaround we had with him. Maybe he could do something like that. Absolutely, yeah.
On the Wood thing, I feel like bad for him a little bit because the way that we play, like most of the 90% of the time, is with a running forward, a running striker, someone who closes down. And it's much more to feet. Chris Wood isn't that sort of player, really. So, I mean, one question why we bought him in the first place, we all know about that. We needed a striker. We can Burnley, fine. But, we take Wood off and then we start playing with like wingers. We take Wood off and put Fraser on and actually start putting crosses into the box. We put Murphy on the other side. He's whipping crosses in as well. We've got Trippier who puts crosses in. We start doing that when our actual guy that lives off of crosses is off the pitch. So I do feel a bit bad for him. I don't think it's all him. He's not the player that we need in this system of a pressing three, like at the front. But also, we don't, give him what he needs either. So it kind of does work both ways. But I'm sorry, do I go back to that point on Max real quick? Did you think it was a red card on Shah? I thought if that goes on a Newcastle player, we're through the fucking roof. Like I thought he was really lucky to be on the pitch, and I thought that was one that we got away with. We didn't get a penalty, which we should have. Didn't get it last week either, which we should have. But so maybe it evens itself out a little. But that to me is a red all day. He's late. It's midway up the leg. It studs up.
I agree with you. It should have been a red, but hey, we should have got on the penalties, as you said. So even scores.
Yeah. I'll take it.
And then that just goes to show what I said about VAR. It's supposed to bring consistency every week. So we're like, no, that's straightforward. That's a penalty. So there you go. But it doesn't seem to help some weeks. And it's like, I don't know what that looked like actually on the ground, but it looked really like he dragged his studs right down his leg. And if that's one of our lot, we're going ballistic. So,
yeah. So last 10 minutes of the match, how are you guys feeling? Are you still 1-0 down? Are you biting your fingernails? Are you pulling your hair out? What's happening?
That's at St. James's. We're winning that game. We'd have dragged that goal in because there's just they just didn't. Once we got going, they just didn't know what to do. They were just like, they had a plan, like as I said, 1-0, and that's it. Count as, try and catch us on the break, thinking we'd all be dynamic, and obviously we didn't have Bruno, so we didn't play like that. But the last 10 minutes, there was just one team who wanted it, and we wanted it, and we nearly got it. Thanks to Elliot, we nearly got it.
Yeah, I thought him coming on was a big thing. I think putting Maxi through the middle when we realised we weren't going to get anything out of Woods, putting someone who's better with his feet in the middle, that really opened the game up a lot. I was surprised Miggy went off. Honestly, I thought he was probably our man of the match. I thought it was a really strange decision because he was especially starting to link up with Maxi right through the middle as well. A real close opportunity when he was almost in. I thought he'd had a good game in general. But yeah, as you say, Anderson, I thought came on, did pretty well. Header at the back post, which was close. Fouled on the edge of the box right in the last second, which was, it could have almost been a penalty. As you say, we were the team that wanted to win it. Wolves were dire. Like, it was hard to watch them play.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned it in the preview that they just try and suck the life out of a game. And they did. They were awful. I'm glad I don't watch them every week, but it really fits with the Birmingham accent. It's just like that's, if you could describe them, the noise, that would be it. They're just boring to watch.
Yeah,
which is surprising given the players they have.
It's not quite Bruce ball, is it? But it's bloody close to it.
Watching
that must be like how we were last year. Just like, God, this is bloody dry.
They're like Burnley with a lot of Portuguese players.
Yeah. The Portuguese
Burnley.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at them. I shall call them that now forevermore. The Portuguese Burnley.
Yeah.
So, which two things that don't go together at all. If you've ever been to Burnley, sorry, people in Burnley, I have been there. So,
Max, what did you think of the goal?
Oh, what a beauty! I was not expecting it. It was a good ball by Anderson to Murphy. He, to be fair to Murphy, fought for it well. Stressed the defender to clear it. His clearance was really bad, but the hit from St. Maximin was absolutely gorgeous. Like, he hit that so well, and just bottom of the corner. I was up screaming. That was really nice. Too bad he can't do that more often, but it was a good strike, good finish. So yeah, it's a good goal.
Next up, we've got Liverpool, and I mean, with the point today, we're unbeaten since 20. You know, the last time was in 2011.
Sure, it wasn't 1911. I can't remember last. Did you say we? That's the time we beat them.
2011 was the last time that we've been unbeaten in four games, if I'm not mistaken. And
wow.
So say Bruno doesn't start, isn't on the bench.
He doesn't.
Elliot Anderson to start.
That's a hell of a game to throw him in at, isn't it? I mean, they're obviously trying to bring him in gradually. And as they did today, you know, we could have maybe done with him if they had that much faith straight after half time, which Eddie doesn't tend to do too much. Doesn't, you know, he tends to leave it 15, 20 minutes. That's a hell of a game to throw him in at, isn't it, really? Against a really, I mean, look what they did to Bournemouth. I mean, I don't know about that. If they've got a lot of faith in him, absolutely, but rather him than me.
Yeah, no. I saw right now that Eddie Howe said that Bruno will miss a couple of games.
He will.
Injury. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
So that's bad news for us because that midfield we had today was really unbalanced.
Yeah.
I don't think Longstaff is a holding midfielder. He's more of a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah.
When he was at his best, when Benitez was here, he was playing with Isaac Hayden, who is a holding midfielder, and he was the more like box-to-box kind of player. And when we seen him at his best, he was always a bit more forward. So he's just not that commanding type of defensive midfielder we need, and we don't have any player like that in the club right now. I don't even think Bruno is that type of player, to be honest. He can do the job, but he's better as a forward midfielder as well. So we should really need to look at someone like that this last week of the transfer window, in my opinion.
Yeah, last week of the transfer window. Ben, who do we bring in?
It's a good one. I think with Kraft being out, and I think you probably need another right back or someone who can play right and left. And that deal for Renan Lodi is looking pretty decent for Forest right now. But yeah, I feel like they probably need a cover in that position. They definitely need someone. But I mean, is he going to play? Like, he doesn't seem to be fancied. We should have brought Trips off earlier today, but I don't think he did, right? Unless I missed that, I don't think Manquillo made it on.
No, he didn't. It was a surprise, that wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. If you trust your right back, if you trust Manquillo, then you're taking Trips off if he's pulled his hamstring or if he's felt his hamstring, because he's going to be important all season. We can't risk him being out. I feel if you trust him, you bring him on. So I think they might do something at right back. I think central midfield, like at the start of the window, I was really confident that we probably didn't need anything in that position. But I think the more it goes on, we do. We either need to push those two further forward, like Longstaff and Willock, like what I was saying, and find someone who's going to be a bit more defensive-minded. Or obviously there's Bruno, like when he's back. But yeah, I don't think having either of them in like playing a defensive role works. And then outright, like I think we really miss a right-footed or someone who can go both sides on the right. Miggy's playing well, but we miss. I think Hudson-Odoi would have been great. Diaby would have been great, and we're going for players like that for a reason. I think somebody take a bit of the strain off of Maxi. He's got 2-3 players around him all the time. That's 2-3 players that won't be on the other side of the pitch. If you can cut the ball over to that side, it's going to free things up. And the running of Isak in the middle or Wilson when he's back, that takes the defender as well. Things like today, when you know what Miggy's going to do. He's going to get to the outside and cut back. You know what Wood's going to do? He's not going to move, so you don't really have to do anything with him. Everyone can just focus on Maxi, which is why I think he had a really hard time against Semedo, because it was Semedo plus one more every single time, pretty much. So I think having someone on the right who can take the weight of that a little bit would be good. So I think it's going to be a busy few days. I won't be surprised if it's Gallagher on loan for the central midfield, but I think there could be something good. I think there's probably room for one more big signing, but I think there's a lot of work to do still.
He got sent off, didn't he, Gallagher? So he won't, even if we got him, he wouldn't be able to play. So
no, but long term for the season, I think they need somebody.
Oh yeah. I mean, just thinking about Liverpool, that's all. Again, even if we got a new guy, throwing them in
probably
against
wouldn't
a
be
really
anyway.
good side. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to throw people straight in. But
no. So
Michael, any names off the top of your head?
Pulisic. Probably. He's about the only one that we've been constantly linked to that I can see is getting, really. Assuming that we're just going to be getting loan people in now, I think we're done buying people now. That we've spent a lot of money, and I think, Isak was sort of like, there you are, that's it. Maybe the money we would have had for Maddison, and that's not going to happen. But yeah, Pulisic, he can do all the things that Ben was just saying then about, coming in. He can play on either wing really, and he could be a very good 10. So yeah, he would be decent on loan. But I can't getting a decent player in now on loan. Not going to be easy, is it? So everyone's going to want those guys. West Ham are very active still. Leicester haven't done anything yet. We're all going to be scrambling really for the same sort of players. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Max, any Swedish gems that we don't know about?
Come on, Max. Come on.
We can probably get Anthony Lang on loan from Manchester United, but I don't know if we want him. But he's a quite decent winger. But I don't know. He could grow with us a bit. But no, I think the most urgent position right now is a midfielder. In my opinion, a defensive midfielder would be the one. We've been linked from Football Style says Alvarez from Ajax, but I don't think they want to sell any more players right now. It seems like Anthony is going to Manchester United for £100 million. So I don't think they need more money. So I don't think they want to sell. I don't know if we've been linked with anyone else. There are some good defensive midfielders out there in Europe or otherwhere. But I would say defensive midfielder or and a winger, right winger, left winger. I thought Fraser looked quite bright when he came on today. It seemed like he was up for it. But he's also one of those, he gets injured a lot. He doesn't really seem to get going. And his playing style doesn't really suit our playing style. He puts a lot of crosses in. And, well, we have Wood, but he doesn't seem to get to the end of those crosses. And it's a bit square pegs and round holes when it comes to some players that we have on the bench. So, but defensive midfielder, I would say, and I don't know exactly who, but someone would be great. Someone.
When you mentioned Wood, I mean, Wood would have been so perfect during the Laurent Robert or Norberto Solano kind of times, but now, really, really not.
Yeah. Like we said before, if we bring Fraser on and then the guy that he's there to service, we take him off. So it's like, okay. I mean, obviously, maybe injuries dictated that this today, but yeah, Fraser does try very hard, but it can't be easy for him being the smallest person to ever play professional football of all time. So, bless him.
Still waiting for that Dan Burn piggyback. I don't know what's going on.
Oh dear! Stop putting him next to him. It's not fair.
Anyway, before we head off, big game against Liverpool. They beat Eddie Howe's former team 9-0. What are we thinking predictions-wise?
3-1 to Liverpool. And I said that about City, so that's a good sign. So I'm just going to say that every time we play anyone big, 3-1 to them.
Okay, so it's going to be 3-3 then. Got it.
Yeah, it's going to be 3-1 to Liverpool.
No, I agree with Michael. I think also 3-1 Liverpool. Anfield is probably one of the hardest away games of the season. And if they've gotten going now with the 9-0 win at Bournemouth, I think it will be really hard, especially with us not having Bruno. And maybe, I don't know how severe St. Maximin's injury was. He looked a bit like he was feeling his hamstring as well. So it could be hard to get him back in, 3 days. I hope we see Isak play. It would be really nice. I'm a bit I feel bad for him to maybe make his debut at Anfield. It's not the easiest play to start off your Premier League career, but we'll see. Maybe he scores a hat-trick. Who knows? It's football. Anything can happen.
He said it. Remember, he said that.
Guys, I'm gonna hold you to these predictions, yeah? And,
3-1. Ben,
what do you think?
If those two are both going for losses, then I think we can be tight at the back when we need to be. I'm just going to go for a boring 0-0, which I think is probably the best we can get out of it. I don't see us scoring there. I don't think he'll start Isak. I don't think Wood's going to get anything there. I think they can crowd Maxi out. I think it's going to be a very defensive display. I don't think it'll be as open as it was against City because I don't think we've got the players to do it at the minute without Wilson, probably without Isak, without Bruno, maybe without Trippier or Maxi as well. So I think I'd go for a very defensive 0-0 draw.
Oh, I like
a real fun, exciting 0-0 draw.
Yeah, one from one end to the other. 3-3, 0-0.
I like the enthusiasm for an Isak hat-trick, but I just don't see it.
No, I don't do it.
Oh, I need to think if I want to wake up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning to watch a 0-0.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, we'd all take it all day long, wouldn't we? Right now,
Yeah.
It will be 0-0. Yes, please. Thank you.
Pope Masterclass.
All right, lads. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Crack open a beer or something. We can celebrate, I guess.
Yeah. We didn't lose. We're still unbeaten. It's a positive.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, still unbeaten. So,
Yeah.
Or half a beer, maybe. You know.
half a
It's
beer.
9 a.m. here, so yeah, a half. Little shandy.
The sun's over the arm somewhere in the world, so that means it's all right to drink.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and see you next time.